My friend's wedding is a disaster. It took a toll on our friendship.
Well, you know what they say. The wedding is important.
I'm about to tell you the story of how toxic Tina ended up curing me of my people-pleasing tendencies. When someone's so sucky that you're like, I can't please you. Just for a little backstory, I have known Tina my entire life. We were born only a week apart from each other. We were next door neighbors until middle school when Tina's family moved across town. We still saw each other at school and continued to be close straight through graduation. Never once growing up would I have thought she would grow up to be the venomous snake she is today. By the way, this comes from Sassy Bestie. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, after high school, Tina went off to college. I moved away to enter the workforce. We lost contact almost immediately as our paths were going in opposite directions. It seemed like the friendship had come to its natural end. We would still think of each other fondly and talk on the rare occasion that we would be back home visiting. And this is how I should have left it. 3 years later, we both just happened to be at home for the same youth event. I was walking into the event hall with a baby on my hip and another in my belly when I heard a familiar voice calling out to me. When I looked up, I saw Tina pushing a stroller. We caught up while waiting our turn at the event. She had graduated college, started working, and was engaged. We exchanged phone numbers and went our separate ways. We maintained contact, even taking turns traveling back and forth to visit each other, officially back to being BFFs. 1 year later. It's the week before the wedding. This brings us to the Bridezilla portion of my story. The week went as follows. Day 1, we packed up my car and drove 3 hours away because there's still so much to do. I need my best friend. Day 2, we found out her soon-to-be mother-in-law, we'll call her Judy, who had begged to be in charge of decorations, pocketed the money Tina had given her for it, but did none of it. Mother-in-law was now denying that she had ever received the money. Since no one witnessed the transaction, Tina eventually relented and we went shopping for decor with my money. Weird. I now wonder if Tina actually gave her the money or not. Day 3, I saw my first ever glimpse of her inner psycho when I finished making 20 centerpieces to her exact specifications, and she decided they were all wrong. That's frustrating. She chucked one at her husband-to-be's head? He ducked, it hit the wall behind him. That's not okay.
You're starting to throw things now?
I tore all the centerpieces apart, redid them. She approved of them. Day 4. We went shopping because Tina decided to make the reception food herself to cut costs. While at the register, Tina got a phone call from the groom. We'll call him Jake. She went outside, leaving me to pay again with my money. Day 5, my husband and Jake went to the gym so we could have a small bridal shower for Tina. I don't remember much of this party, as every time I sat down, Tina would need this, her sorority sister would need that, her mom would spill this, her kid or mine would need changed. This went on all evening. How long were your husband and Jake at the gym? Because you said they went to the gym while you had the bridal party.
Yeah. Well, maybe they were getting some, smoothies afterwards.
Yeah.
Maybe they were kissing each other.
Maybe they were kissing a little bit. Who's to say? This went on all evening. The party ends. Her oldest child wakes up and can't go back to sleep. She sent me to sit with him because she was just too tired to check on her own kid who didn't fall back asleep that night. Day 6. We got up early and immediately started making the food. 10 minutes in, Tina realized we forgot something so insignificant I can't even remember what it was now. I figured it was okay. The store is 5 minutes away. I'd stay here with all the kids, mine and hers, and keep cooking. Tina would run and grab it and come right back. Several hours later, Tina finally came back, fake surprised, that all the food prep was done. She's like, oh my gosh, I was just at the store. You guys did all of that without me?
What? You guys are so fast.
Wow. Yeah, I know I was gone for 4 hours, but I didn't realize. Do you need help with anything?
Oh, man.
We went back to her house, put the kids down for the night, and I finally laid down and started falling asleep. When I heard Tina's oldest kid screaming, followed by Tina whining my name, asking me to check on him because I'm getting married tomorrow. I need to sleep.
Oh, my gosh. Dude.
You're still a parent.
You're still a parent.
You didn't get a day off.
Yep.
By now, I was seriously wondering why I was friends with this person, but I cut her an abundance of slack because I know how stressful wedding planning can be. So just like Elsa, I'll let it go. Day 7. Finally, the wedding day. The Lord's Day, if you will. Let there be light on this day. We were at church bright and early. We were all getting in back room when we heard arguing from another room. I went out to find the mother of the groom yelling nonsense at the mother of the bride. I still have no idea why. The father of the bride was running late, so we had to stall. He finally arrived. Mother of the bride slapped him, pissed off that he came at all. What is up with all of this aggression?
Runs in the family, apparently.
I mean, usually get your argument styles from your parents. And so if the bride is watching her mom do this, now she's throwing things at her husband, does not bode well.
Not at all, man.
I mean, I would say something. I'd be like, whoa, don't do that.
Yeah.
I checked the bride's makeup, straightened her tiara, handed her off to her dad, and made my way back to my seat. If you guessed that I was not actually in this wedding, you got it. That's so much work to not actually be part of the wedding party.
Honestly.
The ceremony went really well. I left the church and went straight to the reception hall. I made sure the food was set up, the DJ had his playlist, and everything was ready for the happy couple to arrive. To this day, this is the shortest wedding reception I have ever been to. The festivities went as follows. 20 minutes in, mother of the bride eats quickly, then sneaks away to her car when Tina isn't looking and leaves. Bride sees her car pulling away, calls, asks if she's coming back because you promised to take the kids for a week so we could go on our honeymoon. Mom says, I changed my mind, and hangs up on her.
What? That's wild.
Your mom is not a good person, man.
Oh.
Wow.
Just dips on babysitting duty for a honeymoon?
Yeah, she's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Figure it out.
Yeah, never mind.
Father of the bride offers to take them instead. Bride calms down, but vows revenge on her mother just the same. 30 minutes in, groom's teenage brother runs and jumps on the back of the bride's dress. Dress rips, exposing her entire rear end.
It's like that one sunscreen brand where the dog is pulling down the baby's little bikini bottoms.
Oh my goodness. This is like a movie.
Yeah, this is like a silly 2000s Home Alone style movie.
Yeah, where oh my goodness, how does that even happen? I take Tina to the restroom and pin up the dress so her booty is covered. 35 minutes in, that's like a nightmare. I don't know, that's terrible.
Wow.
Bride and groom are walking around mingling with guests when their oldest kid starts crying. 3 days of not sleeping finally caught up to him. He needs a nap, but the noise from the reception is preventing that. 40 minutes in, bride asks mother-in-law to please take him to the other room and see if she can get him to lay down because they're just about to do the first dance. Mother-in-law looks at bride and says, that is your kid. Mother-in-law doubted said child's paternity. I am not missing any part of my son's wedding. Bride begins to cry, takes her kid to the other room. 50 minutes in, baby is still crying. It's too loud for him to sleep. Bride pleads with mother-in-law one more time, asking her to just sit with him long enough to do the first dance. Mother-in-law still insists she is not missing any part of her son's wedding. That's your son. You sat with him. 1 hour in, I turn my back for 2 minutes when Jake comes bursting through the door telling me that Tina just took kid one and left. Go after her. She'll listen to you. I run outside to see her getting into her car. I jump into the passenger seat and she squeals rubber leaving the parking lot. So you're like, wait, I gotta talk to you. You jump in and she's like, okay, we're both leaving then.
I'm imagining the windows rolled down and she just dives in and so her legs are still sticking out and then it just gets off and she's like, give me this kid.
Yikes.
Because the kid isn't hers, right? This Tina?
So it's the bride, which is OP's friend, I think Tina, and her child, her and the new husband's child. The mother-in-law is doesn't believe that it's his child. And so that's why she keeps going, I'm not watching it. It's your child. I'm not watching it.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. And so she's like, you know what? I'm fed up. And she leaves her own wedding.
Oh my gosh. That's crazy. That's crazy. Runaway bride.
Runaway bride.
My gosh.
A few miles down the road, we come around a corner to see a moving van stopping in our lane, maybe 500 feet away, and a semi coming in the other lane. At the rate of speed we were going, my brain immediately starts mathin', and I just knew we didn't have time to stop. To this day, I don't know how we managed to not have a life-ending car accident that day. We got back to the house, and I told her I was going back to the hall. When I got back to the hall, Jake has decided that the party was over, and he and all the remaining guests were tearing down and cleaning the hall. Me being me, I let them all have a big piece of my mind. I packed up my kids, and we all made the long drive home. I called Tina when I got home to let her know we made it. Then she ghosted me. And there is an update, but Tina ghosted OP.
For all that she's done.
I mean, depends on how long she ghosted you. Or maybe it was indefinitely. But if it was she didn't respond after that day, valid. that was a big day.
Yeah, lots going on. I'm assuming it's more than that if she's calling it ghosting. But honestly, if she's ghosting, trash taking itself out.
Exactly. It's like, okay.
Yeah, you cannot be around this friend anymore. They are just a crazy headache to be around. So
Yeah, I mean, like, drama follows them like ghosts follow Keon.
yeah, exactly. So just leave him behind.
But there is an update. So after her disaster of a wedding, I talked to Tina. I let her know I made it home. Then she changes her phone number and ghosts me for 10 years.
10 years? She gonna hit her back after 10 years?
You know, like, how long do you refer to it as ghosting? I don't think it talks about time, you know? I feel like it's like she gets the process of not talking.
It's just about like how it ended, I feel. She ghosted me.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say ghosted for 10 years.
Well, I think that's just implying that she's replying again after 10 years.
During this time, I hear all sorts of things about myself that I never knew about. These rumors range from I single-handedly and maliciously ruined her wedding to she caught me in bed with her father.
Girl, what?
OP did so much work for this wedding and is being slandered.
All of the lies, man. That's wild.
None of which were true. I have never really cared of what people said about me, so I had 0 F's to give. If people want to spread vitriol and lies, that says more about their character than mine. Fast forward 10 years, my husband leaves for work. 20 minutes later, his friend, we'll call him Joe, got hurt at work, works at the same place as my husband. He needs to be picked up from the hospital, but his wife isn't answering her phone. He wanted to know if my husband could take him home. I said, I'm sorry, he left, and told me he was going to work. If he didn't go, I have no idea where he could be, but that I would be happy to pick him up and take him home. When we pull up to Joe's house, the first thing we see is my husband's car in Joe's driveway. We go inside, and you guessed it, there's my husband and Joe's wifey doing the horizontal mambo on the living room floor? Whoa, 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 whoa.
I'm sorry, I've never heard that before.
Oh my gosh.
Wait, so 10 years later, your husband is cheating on you with his friend's wife.
No, they're doing the horizontal mambo. It's totally different.
A horizontal mambo. Dude. All right, on the living room floor, man.
That's messed up, man. I don't tolerate cheating, so my marriage ended that day.
Oh my gosh.
No marriage counseling, no apologies. That is an unforgivable act in my book. So I file for divorce and move me and my children back to my hometown. The first day at their new school, I go to pick them up afterward and I bump into Tina, whom I didn't even know was back in town. She immediately starts talking to me, telling me that Jake is becoming harmful in the relationship. They were separated while he sought help. For months, she tells me how harmful Jake was towards her and the kids and confesses that it was him who insisted she cut ties with me. Says me yelling at his mom after what she and her other child did at the wedding was the final straw. Insists he was the one to start all of the rumors and begs forgiveness. I give her the benefit of the doubt on these accusations. She isn't giving me any reason to doubt it. From here, we start having dinner at her house nearly every night. At first, we would split the cost of these meals. Over time, it ended up with me footing the entire bill. I knew what she was going through, and me being better off financially, I didn't complain. During this time, I confided in Tina all of the things I went through in my marriage, as it was a very toxic marriage even before I caught him with Joe's wife. Well, I canceled dinner because one of my kids wasn't feeling well. Tina is upset, but ultimately says, it's okay, but asks if I can drop off a few things that she left at my house. I said yes. But my ex was here at the moment. Since my ex had to go past her house on his way home, he offers to just stop and drop it off. Fast forward 8 hours. My sick kid starts displaying new symptoms. We need to go to the emergency room. I call my ex, no answer. I call him several more times. He still doesn't answer, so we just go. I call Tina on the way. She answers. I explain what's going on and that I can't get a hold of her dad. She says he dropped off her bag and left, and she has no clue where he is. So I drive past his house. His car is there, so I just assume he's in deep sleep. I call his neighbor from the hospital and have someone go knock on the door. I then call Tina again. She says she's tried to call him and got no answer, but she left messages, and if he calls her back, she will let him know what's going on. Turns out my kid's got appendicitis.
Wow.
Oh my goodness, and is going in for emergency surgery. I call and update everyone. I'm on the phone with Tina, who is still denying having seen him, when in the background, I hear one of her kids yell my ex's name. I knew it. I was going to be like, he's probably at her house.
Yeah.
Stop doing the mambo.
Stop. I thought she was on the phone with Tina.
Messed up. I said, so have you even told him what's going on? Put him on the dang phone. Turns out once he got to her house, she put the moves on him. He drove 30 minutes home while she followed, parked his car in his driveway, got into her car, and went straight back to her house. And no, she hadn't told him what was going on with our daughter. So he's now an hour away from the hospital with no vehicle. Tina decides to do the right thing and tosses him her keys. He takes her car to the hospital. After the surgery and my kid's recovery, Tina and I talk, and she insists she was just really lonely. And I'm sympathetic to this because I've known she's been dealing with a lot. Having been in a harmful relationship before, I know where she's coming from. She apologizes for not admitting he was there from the start. I forgive her, and we go back to the way it was. A month later, Jake turns up. Tina moves him back in with her. I am watching him closely because I have been told he hates me, and he's a horrible, no-good son of a beep, and I don't trust him one bit. A few months later, Jake has to go out of town on a business trip. Tina almost immediately cheats on him with the neighbor. I catch them in the act and tell Tina, you tell Jake or I will. How are you always catching Tina in the act? I think you actually caught someone else in the act before, but how are you always catching people in the act?
Yeah, how did this one happen? I get the other one. She went to the house, but maybe she's just driving in the neighborhood to go see her or something like that, and then sees her coming from her neighbor's house or something. I don't know.
Potentially.
Maybe.
I do not condone this behavior one bit. She agrees to tell Jake as soon as he returns. I accept this as he only has a couple of days before he comes home, and regardless of how I feel about the guy, no one deserves to get that news through a phone call. I don't want him driving home upset and something bad happening to him or anyone else as a result. When he arrives back home, she follows through and tells him. Jake decides that this is unforgivable and starts packing his bags. Tina calls me, says she told Jake, and he's going crazy. Come help, the cops are on the way. I pull up to see Jake carrying armfuls of his belongings out and loading up his car, all while she's on his back, her legs wrapped around his midsection, one arm hooked around his neck, and attacking him. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh.
He looked like he had just went a few rounds in a cage match with Wolverine. You need to freaking call the police for him.
Yeah, that's crazy. Because at first I was worried. I was like, okay, if she's being honest about him being harmful and stuff, I'm kind of worried about him finding out that she's cheating on him. But after this, man.
Yeah, it seems like she's the one who's the harmful one.
She's absolutely the one.
As soon as Tina sees me, she hops off his back and starts playing the victim. He looks at me and says, I can live with her anger. I can put up with her violence. I can't forgive her infidelity.
Mine said that I would suggest to adopt.
I don't think you should put up with any of that.
Don't put up with any of that. Don't put up with any violence.
No, none of that is okay. I just nod in his direction. I turn back around just in time to watch her throw herself backwards on the front porch, start slapping her head against the wall while screaming things like, you're giving me a concussion. The cops are on the way. And ow, stop, you're hurting me. Then she starts hitting herself in the face. That's scary. To have someone so manipulative and such a liar that they will go to any lengths to put the blame on you.
Yeah, just seeing a psychotic meltdown happen is wow.
She seriously looked like she was possessed by the devil himself. Then just as suddenly as her fit started, it was over. She looks at Jake and says, let's see you talk your way out of this one. Girl, you have witness. You know, Addie, me, will tell the cops that she saw you hurting me and everything. I said, you're correct. I will definitely tell the cops everything that I've seen. This girl is stupid.
Yeah.
Cops show up, take everyone's statements, and I tell them exactly what I saw. For the next few weeks, Tina and the neighbors start calling me and trying to tell me to go to court in her defense and tell her lies. I say I will go to court, but that I'm not going to perjure myself. So she ends up giving up and instead starts spreading more lies about me, this time saying that I ruined her marriage. I was sleeping with her husband. Newsflash, I wasn't. I have a type. Jake doesn't fit that mold. I decided this is my last straw. I am done with Tina. I cut ties. You put up with a lot.
Thank you. Wow. 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 Wow.
Wanting to know the truth, I called Jake to find out everything had been a lie. It was her that chose to ghost me after the wedding. It was her who was physically harmful the whole time. Duh. You would think this is where my Tina troubles ended, but unfortunately that's not the case. 1 year later, I'm out running errands and picking up some necessities from the store. every place that I stopped that day, it turned out that Tina also needed to go to those places at the same time. Tina's stalking you, girl.
For real. That's scary.
As we live in a relatively small community, it isn't uncommon to see the exact same people everywhere you go. I just chalk it up to small town coincidence and choose to take care of my business and just ignore her presence. You know, like adults do. A few hours later, I'm at home making dinner while my youngest child, who was 5 at the time, is playing with the toy I bought her that day as a reward for being good while we were out. I think it was a playset based off of her favorite movie. When there's a knock at my door, I look out the window and see Officer Fife. Oh no. Hopefully, I feel like maybe, she called the police on you for something. Or maybe she called CPS or something.
Or maybe there's an investigation and the police need to ask you questions.
Hopefully. Confused, I open the door and ask, what can I open with? He informs me that they got a report that I was stalking and pestering Tina and her little craps all day, and her 6-year-old child and her 4-year-old child were distraught, and he believed these children's stories. I tell him I have several witnesses that would disagree, as I have not done my shopping alone. I was with my new boyfriend, whom Tina had never met, and everywhere I went, I knew just about everyone I saw that day. Several of them knew the history between me and Tina, and I was sure they would clear things up. Officer Fife does not like my version of events and informs me that I have no right to be in any of those places. I'm talking grocery store, local restaurant, gas station, Family Dollar, and the nursing home where we both had loved ones, essentially trespassing me from every public space in town. Daddy just is giving me a warning this time to consider myself warned that if Tina calls again, I'm going to jail. Does he not follow up at all?
Conspiracy theory. This is a fake cop. Conspiracy theory. She hired someone to act like a cop and went over to scare her.
Or maybe she's got a man on the inside.
Maybe.
Like he's like a cousin or something. He's like, yeah, don't talk to Tina or I'll arrest you.
Yeah.
Well, I was willing to just walk away up to this point because I didn't want to make waves, but this was my breaking point. So I called a lawyer friend of mine, told them about the latest installment of the saga of Toxic Tina, the eternal victim. They then did a little digging, made a few phone calls, and drafted a letter to the local police chief informing him that we had conclusive proof that if anyone had stalked anyone that day, it was Tina who had been stalking me. My lawyer friend had obtained surveillance videos from the day and times of the supposed incidents, as he is a pretty well-known lawyer in the area and has a good working relationship with most of the local businesses. This was easy to obtain. In each video, it clearly showed me and my horde of munchkins walk through the door, followed by Tina and 2 of her children anywhere from 2 to 10 minutes later. He informed the chief that Officer Fife's actions that day were not only unprofessional, but also an overstep of his authority, as none of the business owners were even aware that Tina had made these accusations. He also sent correspondence to Tina letting her know that filing a false police report is a federal offense. These letters put both Tina and the local PD on notice that if Tina or Fife continued to pester me, we would not only be filing charges against Tina and Fife, but we would also be filing a suit against the PD. Fife was fired shortly after, and to this day, 15 years later, I am now really good friends with Jake. Nice.
Wow.
What a turnaround, man.
Wow.
You thought he sucked, but turns out he's actually a nice guy.
Actually pretty cool. Wow.
And to this day, if I run into her anywhere, she'll glare at me until one of us leaves. And by the way, you should never leave us because you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search for OK Storytime. But there is a little bit left of this story. Do you have any final thoughts?
This is just, how is one person so insane?
Yeah. I mean, how did it go from 10 years ago,
Yeah.
You're helping out with her wedding 10 years later and she's filing false police reports.
Yeah. It's just, people are wild, man.
People are wild.
They're wild.
But there is a little bit left to the story.
All right, let's see it.
To this day, she has not started anything more. Good. Leave her in the past. But I do get dirty looks from her. I do still get nervous if I see her, worried another cop is going to show up at my house, or worse, she's going to Hulk out and make me the focus of her next meltdown. When the friendship ended, she was in possession of a lot of my stuff. Things I really didn't want to lose, but seemed like a small price to pay for my own mental health. And that is the end of that story.
Wow.
Dang, man. Yeah, I mean, leave Tina in the past because she stinks.
Crazy story, crazy Tina.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But that's the end of that story.